Beautiful, spicy ladies. The 7-minute foreplay rule. Why it's essential for women over 30. Now, that title might have caught your eye, but we're not just talking physical here. Foreplay is the art of building anticipation, connection, and trust that lights up your heart before anything else. After 30, intimacy hits different. You want more than quick sparks. You want depth, and these 5 steps, drawn from my own stumbles and years of coaching, are your guide to making those 7 minutes a game changer. So, grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's talk like we're sharing secrets over coffee. Let's start. Number 1, spark the anticipation. What if 7 minutes, just 7 minutes of intentional, heart-stirring connection, could shift your entire love life, not just in the bedroom, but in the way you and your partner truly see each other? I want to take you back to a time with Jake, a guy who roared into my world in my early 30s, all charm and quick thrills. We've been caught in this whirlwind of relationship, fast-paced dates, late-night drinks, moments that buzz with excitement, but left me empty when the lights went out. I'd rush from one encounter to the next, chasing the high, thinking that's what intimacy was. But one evening, after another rush date where we barely talked, I slowed down. I lingered, savored a quiet texty scent, let a glance across the table sink in, and for the first time, I felt him. Not just a rush. That pause, that tiny stretch of anticipation, wasn't just a moment. It was a spark that changed how we connected. That evening with Jake, it's the soul of this first step. Spark the anticipation. This is about self-awareness, about tuning into what builds your spark and sets the stage for deeper intimacy. And significant because anticipation isn't just foreplay's opening act. It's the foundation of a connection that resonates long after the moment passes. With Jake, everything was fast. Dates planned last minute. Conversations skimming the surface. No time to breathe or feel. I'd call it passion. But it was shallow, a sprint that left me winded and wondering why I felt so unseen. That night, though, I didn't rush. I paused, let his hey. Thinking of you, text it, felt the flutter of his eyes meeting mine over dinner, and asked myself, what builds my spark? The answer wasn't speed, it was slowness. Savoring the little things, his laugh, a shared silence that made me feel alive. That shift wasn't loud. It was a quiet awakening, a clarity that lit the way to something real. Let me weave this deeper with a story from someone I coached. Sarah, a woman who came to me at 35, when her marriage felt like a checklist of to-dos, not a connection. Her husband was kind, dinners, weekend errands, but their intimacy had faded, rushed through like another task. We're fine, she'd say, her voice tight with the lies she told herself, but she missed the spark. One night, after a clipped goodnight, she lay awake, that ache growing. Instead of pushing for a quick fix, she slowed down. The next day, she savored, lingered on his morning coffee run, sent a playful text, held his gaze a little longer, and felt a flicker. What builds my spark? She wondered, and named it. Moments that linger, not rush. She told me later. I stopped hurrying, and we felt each other, her eyes bright with the realization that anticipation wasn't just physical, it was emotional, a rhythm she could choose. This step, it's gentle but electric, a truth that shifts intimacy from a race to a dance. After 30, you've lived enough to know that quick thrills, hot as they are, don't sustain the heart. With Jake, I'd rush. Let's keep it fun, I'd think, ignoring the nights I'd feel hollow, craving something more than a fleeting high. But pausing, savoring a text, a glance, showed me. Anticipation builds a spark that fuels connection. Sarah felt it too. I'd speed through us, she'd say. But slowing woke us up. It's self-awareness in motion. Ask, what builds my spark? A touch, a word, a shared quiet, and let it guide you. For me, it was jotting in my journal. I need slowness, not speed. Raw and clear. For Sarah, it was that coffee moment, whispering, I want to feel him. Clarity fuels connection. Intimacy starts with your rhythm, the one you set when you know what lights you up. So, how do you make this yours? It's not hard, but it takes a little intention. Pause. Feel what stirs you. A long look, a soft word, a moment held. Try it. Linger on his text. Savor his voice. Ask, What builds my spark? I started after Jake. Nights when I'd rush, I'd slow, feel the moment. I coached Emily, whose partner felt distant. She'd hurry, then lingered, smiled longer, and he'd say, "I feel you." That spark. It's your rhythm, the root of intimacy he'll feel when you lean into it. You can't connect deeply if you're sprinting, but anticipation sets the stage. But here's the twist, though. Slowing isn't always easy. It stirs impatience, that voice nagging. Will it work? Why wait? It's tough, resisting the rush. But it solves that cycle where you skip connection, where intimacy stays surface. With Sarah, her pause scared her. What if he doesn't feel it? But it pulled him closer. What if you need to feel safe to keep that spark alive, though? What if your rhythm needs trust to burn bright? That's where we're headed next. Our next step, trusting your heart, where anticipation meets assurance. Number 2, trust your heart. Can you trust your heart's pace? Its quiet rhythm, its soft nudges, when everything in you wants to rush to control to make sure it all works out? I learned this one with Ryan, a man who drifted into my life in my early 30s, when I was starting to see intimacy as more than just a spark. We've been spending time together, sweet talks over coffee, walks where our shoulders brushed, and it felt promising, like something could grow. But I doubt, second-guessed myself, pushed to move faster. Are we serious? Because I was afraid of losing him, afraid my heart's slower, deeper pace was wrong. One evening, though, I stopped rushing. I leaned into my heart, shared a fear, I'm scared to get hurt, and trusted it wouldn't scare him off. He looked at me, his voice steady. I'm here. And in that moment, he didn't just stay. He met me, heart to heart, because I trusted mine first. That evening with Ryan, it's the essence of the second step. Trust your heart. This is about personal growth, about embracing your inner rhythm and letting it guide you. And it's mind-bending because trusting yourself isn't just self-soothing. It fuels vulnerability, the kind that opens the door to real intimacy. With Ryan, he was sweet. Those talks were warm, his laugh a comfort. But I'd rush, trying to lock it down. Were we? My doubt like a shadow over us. I'd hide my fears, don't seem needy, I'd think, afraid my heart's pace was too slow, too soft. That night, though, I leaned in, I shared. I'm scared, not to pull him closer, but to be real, to trust my heart's truth wouldn't break us. His "I'm here" wasn't just words. It was a bridge, built because I dared to be open, and that vulnerability deepened us in a way rushing never could. Let me weave this deeper with a story from someone I coached. Mia, a woman who came to me at 36, when her relationship felt like it was slipping through her fingers. Her guy was charming, dinner dates, playful texts, but he'd drift, pulling back when things got close, and she'd panic, pushing. Where is this going? To keep him near. He'll leave if I'm too much, she'd say, her voice tight with doubt, but she was hiding her heart, rushing to match his pace. One session, I asked, what if you trusted your heart? She hesitated. He'll think I'm weak, but she tried. She slowed down, shared a quiet truth. I'm open, but I need us real, and trusted was enough. He didn't drift, he stayed, saying, I want this. She told me later. I stopped chasing, and he met me, her eyes bright with the realization that trust in her heart didn't push him away. It pulled him in. This step, it's quiet but powerful, a shift that turns doubt into daring. After 30, you've carried enough, past loves, maybe scars, and it's easy to doubt your heart, to think you need to rush or mold yourself to keep love. But trusting your pace changes that. With Ryan, I'd rush, don't lose him. I'd think, hiding my fears until sharing them. I'm scared. Set me free? Mia felt it too. I'd push to hold him, she'd say, but trusting held us. It's personal growth in motion. You be you. Share your truth, slow and real. And trust deepens because you're not forcing, you're flowing. He doesn't feel trapped. He's drawn to a you that's authentic. A heart he can trust because you trust it first. So, how do you make this yours? It's not easy, but it's simple. Pause. Feel your heart's pace. What's it saying? Share truth. I want this real, and trust it's enough. I started after Ryan. Moments when I doubt, I'd lean in and say, I'm nervous. I coached Emily, whose guy felt distant. She'd rush then shared, "I need a slow." He'd say, "I'm here." That trust, it's your strength, a pull he feels. I've seen it with Sarah. Her guy vague, she trusted, "I'm open," and he'd stay, "I see you." Emotional intimacy grows when you're real. He's not dodging a push. He's meeting a heart that's steady, a you that trusts its own rhythm. Here's the catch, though. Trust isn't safe. It risks exposure, that fear of what if he pulls back. It's vulnerable, showing your heart's pace, but it fixes that guard where you hide, where doubt keeps you closed. With Mia, her trust scared her. What if he runs? But it held him instead. What if he needs to hear that heart to meet it, though? What if your trust needs a voice to spark his? That's where we're headed next. Our next step, whispering desire, where your heart's rhythm finds words to ignite him. Number 3, whisper your desire. Can a whisper, soft, honest, barely more than a breath, ignite him, stir his heart to meet yours in a way that shouting or silence never could? I learned this one with Nate, a man who wandered into my life in my 30s, when I was starting to crave intimacy that went beyond the surface. We've been spending time together, cozy evenings filled with laughs, his easy grin lighting up the room, and it felt good, like a warm fire on a chilly night. But it was vague, no depth, just a comfortable blur I'd settle into without pushing. I'd hold back, swallow my desires. Don't scare him. I'd think, afraid that saying what I wanted would break the spell. One night, though I couldn't keep it in, I looked at him, my heart steady, and whispered, "I want us closer." My voice was soft, not demanding, just true, and he didn't pull away. He glowed, his eyes warm. Me too. And that whisper wove us tighter, heart to heart. That night with Nate, it's the spark of this third step. Whisper your desire. This is about trust and communication, about daring to voice your heart's longing with clarity and softness. And it's relevant because desire, when spoken gently, doesn't just ask. It invites intimacy, creating a space where connection can bloom. With Nate, he was cozy. Those laughs were easy, his presence a comfort. But it was vague, a surface I'd glide on, afraid to dive deeper. I'd hold back. Maybe he'll say it first. I'd hope, keeping my wants quiet, thinking silence was safer. That night, though, I let go. I whispered, "I want us closer." Not loud, not pleading, just real, like offering a piece of my soul. His me too wasn't forced. It flowed because my clarity gave him a path to follow. It was about control. It was about trust. Trust in my voice to carry my desire without pushing him away. And that openness lit a spark we both felt. Let me weave this deeper with a story from someone I coached. Sarah, a woman who came to me at 33, when her relationship felt stuck in a shallow loop. Her guy was sweet, dates at cozy cafes, playful banter, but he'd stall, never moving past the easy stuff. She'd spoken her need for connection, but he'd dodge. "We're good." And she'd hold back. "Don't be too much," she'd tell herself, her desires locked tight. One evening, after another light but empty date, she felt that ache grow sharp. She didn't shout or withdraw. She sat him down, her voice soft. "I crave you. I want us deeper." No drama, just a clear, gentle truth. He paused and leaned in. "I want that too." She told me later. I stopped hiding and he saw me, her eyes bright with the realization that her whisper didn't break them. It built a bridge. This step, it's delicate but electric, a moment where your voice becomes a thread, pulling you closer. After 30, you've learned that holding back, keeping desire silent, creates drift, not safety. With Nate, my silence is a shield. Don't risk it. I'd think, until "I want us closer" broke through, clear and soft. Sarah felt it too. I'd stay quiet, she'd say. But "I crave you" changed us. It's trust and communication in motion. You speak, "I need connection," gentle but sure, and intimacy grows because you're clear, not cloaked. He doesn't hear a demand. He hears your heart, open and real, and that's what draws him in, not away. So, how you make this yours? It's not hard, but it takes a little bravery. Find your calm, then whisper your desire. "I want us," or "I crave you." I started after Nate. Moments when I'd hold back, I'd pause and speak. I want us deeper. I coached Emily, whose guy felt distant. She'd hesitate, then said, I need us close. He'd nod. I'm here. That whisper. It's your power, a call he feels. I've seen it with Lisa. Her guy vague. She spoke, I want us real. And he stayed. I feel it. Emotional intimacy grows when you're clear. He's not dodging a push. He's drawn to a heart that's honest, a you that dares to desire. But here's the wonder, though. Whispers aren't always steady. They can tremble, stirring fear. What if he doesn't want it? It's vulnerable, voicing your heart's longing, but it solves that silence where you drift, where unspoken desires keep you apart. With Sarah, her whisper scared her. What if he says no, but it pulled him closer? What if he doesn't answer right away, though? What if his heart needs space to respond? That's where we're headed next. Our next step, holding the space, where your whisper meets his quiet with patience. Number 4, hold the space. What if space, quiet, patient space, could spark a connection deeper than any words you might rush to fill it with? I learned this one with Tom, a man who came into my life in my mid-30s, when I was starting to understand that intimacy isn't just about talking or touching, but about giving room for hearts to breathe. We'd been building something, shared dinners, soft laughs, but there were moments when he'd go quiet, his eyes drifting, his words clipped. I'd feel this urge to fix it, to make him open up, and I'd push. Tell me now, what's going on? My voice tight, my impatience like a wave crashing over us. He'd shut down. It's nothing. And we'd be further apart, my heart racing with frustration. But one evening, I tried something new. I felt that same itch to demand, but I paused, sat across from him, and said, I'm here. I waited, no prodding, just open. And after long silence, he spoke, his voice soft. I feel it. I'm just nervous. That space wasn't empty. It was his heart unfolding, and my patience let it shine. That evening with Tom, it's the core of this 4th step. Hold the space. This is about intimacy through patience, about offering a safe, quiet place for him to share. And it's significant because space doesn't just wait. It fosters trust, creating a foundation where vulnerability can grow. With Tom, he was quiet. Those dinners were warm, but his silences felt like gaps I needed to fill, and I'd rush, talk, thinking pressure would unlock him. But it built walls, not closeness. He'd retreat, leaving me more alone. That night, though, I let go. I paused, I'm here, and gave him room, my heart open, my urgency still. And when he said, I feel it, it wasn't just a moment, it was trust, a gift he gave because I'd stopped pushing. It wasn't about me getting answers. It was about him feeling safe, and that space wove us closer than any demand ever could. Let me weave this deeper with a story from someone I coached. Lisa, a woman who came to me at 34, when her relationship felt like it was teetering on the edge of depth but stuck in silence. Her guy was kind, movie nights, gentle touches, but he'd freeze when she whispered her desire for more, offering only a nod, no words. She'd push, say something. After sharing, I want us closer, but his silence grew heavier. He's shutting me out, she'd say, her voice sharp with worry, and she'd prod, only to get, I don't know. One session, I asked, what if you held space? She frowned. He'll never open, but she tried. Next time he froze, she didn't push. She sat, said, take your time, and waited, her presence steady. After a beat, he looked up, I want this, I'm just scared. She told me later, I stopped rushing, and he came to me, her eyes wide with the truth that patience didn't lose him. It found him. This step, it's subtle but transformative, a shift that turns silence into a pathway, not a barrier. After 30, you've learned that intimacy isn't just about what's said, it's about what's felt, especially when his heart needs time to speak. With Tom, my pushing, now, was like slamming a door. It locked him out, not in, but holding space. I'm here was an invitation, a place where he could be real. Lisa felt it too. I'd demand, he'd hide, she'd say, but waiting opened us. It's intimacy through patience. You wait, heart open, pressure off, and trust grows because he feels safe, not chased. Communication thrives when he knows you'll hold, not hurry, and that safety draws his heart closer. not further. So, how do you make this yours? It's not easy, but it's gentle. Speak your desire, then hold. I'm here, or take your time. I started after Tom, talked where I'd share, then wait, no rush. I coached Emily, whose guy clammed up, she'd push then held. I'm listening. He'd share, I'm trying. That space, it's trust he feels, a pull to open. I've seen it with Sarah. Her guy's silent. She'd say, I'm here, and he'd speak, I want us. Emotional intimacy deepens when you hold. He's not bracing for your haste. He's leaning into your calm, a heart safe to meet yours. Here's a paradox, though. Holding space isn't passive. It tests your calm, stretches your need to fix now. It's hard, sitting in that quiet, but it fixes that push where he pulls back, where urgency builds walls. With Lisa, her pushing lost him, her space won him. What if that space isn't the end, though? What if it's part of a rhythm, a dance you both weave? That's where we're headed next. Our last step, weaving the bond, where your patience creates connection that holds. Number 5, weave the bond. Can you keep the spark of intimacy alive? Not just in fleeting moments, but through the everyday, the doubts, the quiet stretches that could pull you apart if you let them? I learned this one with James, a man who entered my life in my late 30s, when I was learning to build love with care, not just chance. We'd sparked anticipation, trusted our hearts, whispered desires, and held space for each other, and it felt like we cracked open something real, a connection that hummed with possibility. But I knew that spark could fade if we didn't tend it. So one quiet morning, over steaming mugs of coffee, I looked at him and asked, still here? Are we building this? It wasn't a test, just a gentle check-in, a thread I want to keep weaving. He nodded, his eyes steady. Yeah, we're here. And with every small nudge, every shared moment, we grew, weaving a bond that didn't just hold, it thrived. That morning with James is the heartbeat of this 5th step. Weave the bond. This is about trust and process, about believing that intimacy isn't a single moment, but a living tapestry you build over time. And it's relevant because love after 30 isn't about chasing highs. It's about nurturing a connection that deepens with every intentional step. With James, those early moments, our whispers, our pauses, were electric, but electricity flickers if you don't ground it. I check in, what's us? Over dinner, or how's our spark? On a walk, not to demand, but to keep our hearts aligned. He'd lean in, I love where we're at. And those talks weren't grand gestures. They were stitches, small but strong, weaving trust, closeness, a bond that grew because we kept tending it. It wasn't about perfection. It was about presence, showing up to build something lasting. Let me weave this deeper with a story from someone I coached. Mia, a woman who came to me at 35, when her relationship felt like it was drifting despite its promise. Her guy was warm, cozy nights, soft touches, but he'd waver, pulling back when life got heavy, and their spark felt fragile. They'd share desires. I want us closer, and held space, but days passed and old habits crept in. It's fading, she'd say, her voice heavy with worry, afraid their connection wouldn't hold. I asked, what if you kept weaving it? She sighed, he'll think I'm clingy, but she tried. She'd nudge, soft and light. Are we close? Over breakfast, or still our spark on a drive? He'd pause and stay, yes, I'm here. Over time, he'd share. Work's tough, but you're my anchor. And their bond grew not from one moment, but from her tending it. She told me, I stopped waiting for it to stay. I built it. Her eyes shining with the truth that love grows in the weave, not the wish. This step, it's gentle but profound, a rhythm that turns sparks into a steady flame. After 30, you know love isn't a sprint. It's a dance, a back and forth you both choose. With James, I'd nudge, where's our spark? And he'd share, right here, his voice warm, and we'd deepen, not drift. Mia felt it too. I'd hope he'd hold it, she'd say, but weaving kept us. It's trust and process. You keep it alive. How's our heart? And rest in growth, not forcing but fostering. Communication thrives in this dance. He doesn't feel pressured. He stays for the bond, the us you're crafting together, moment by moment. So, how do you make this yours? It's not complex, but it takes intention. After your spark, Don't let it fade. Check in gentle and true. Still here? Or where's our spark? I started after James. Moments when I'd sense distance, I'd ask, are we close? And we'd talk soft and real. I coached Emily, whose guy grew quiet. She'd nudge, still us? Over tea, and he'd open, always. That weaving, it's intimacy growing, a pulley feels. I've seen it with Sarah. Her guy wavering, she'd say, still our spark? And he'd stay, yes. Emotional intimacy deepens in the weave. He's not dragged. He's drawn to a bond that's alive, a dance you both step into. Here's the beauty. Though, this weave isn't just maintenance. It heals distance, those moments when life pulls you apart or silence creeps in. With Mia, her nudges didn't just hold them. They grew them, a spark that became a flame. It's the thread of all 5 steps. Sparking anticipation, trusting your heart, whispering desire, holding space, and now this, a tapestry of intimacy that warms you both. Let's wrap it up with a final thought, a bow on this journey we've shared. So, there's your 5. Spark anticipation, trust your heart, whisper desire, hold space, weave the bond. I met a woman once, 40 years married. We build every day, she said. Reflect. What's your 7 minutes? Start small, love deep. Thanks for being here. Hit like if this sparked you. It spreads a vibe. Subscribe if you're in and comment. What's your foreplay secret? Stay true to yourself. To all the spicy ladies make life beautiful, see you in our next video.